For our next question, we have a group of diners, and they were asked how much they would pay for a meal. Their responses were in order: $7.50, $8.25, $9, $8, $7.25, $7.50, $8, and $7. So we have three things we have to do. The first is to find the mean. So if we add up these values, we wind up with 62.5, and that would be dollars. I'm going to leave the dollar sign off. So 62.5, and there were 8 diners, so dividing that by 8, we get 7.81 when we round. So that's the mean. Now the median is the middle value. Well, it turns out we've got an even number of entries, so there is no middle value. But then to find the mean, you take the two values that comprise the middle, you add those up and find the mean of those two values, and that becomes the median. So doing that, our two middle values are 750 and 8. Adding those up, dividing by 2, we get 7.75, and so that's going to be our median. Now, so 7.75, we've got the median, 7.75. Now, we've got to come up with a 5-number summary. And that 5-number summary, the information on that, at least for the quartiles, can be found on page 267. So the 5-number summary, the lowest, smallest value is $7, the largest is 9. So that takes care of 2 of the numbers. The median is the third, and that's 770.75. To find the lower quartile, Q sub 1, again, we have an even number of values, 1, 2, plus 2 more is 4, in that lower half. So we find the two middle values, add them up and divide by 2, find their mean, and that becomes the median for the lower half, which is the lower quartile. So adding 7.25 plus 7.50 together, we get 14.75. Dividing by 2, we get 7.38 when we round up. Now to find the Q sub 2, which is the upper quartile, again we have 4 values, so we have 2 middle values. We'll find the average of those two, and they are going to be $8 and $8.25. When we add those up and divide by 2, we get 8.13, and that becomes our upper quartile, or Q sub 2, and that is our 5-number summary. The lower, the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. For our final question, we have to refer to the histogram relative to the weights of 100 male subjects. We have to compute the mean weight, the median weight, the 5-number summary for this data, and create a box plot. Now, to start with, each one of these columns represents a bin, and each bin represents the number of gentlemen in a range of weights. For example, there's 4 gentlemen in this bin, and they weigh anywhere from 120 to 134 pounds. So to find the average weight of each bin, I just added these two values up, divided by 2, and came up with the average weight. And I did that for each bin. So the average weight for bin 2 is 142, for bin 3 is 157, and so on. Now, it's a bit problematic corresponding the correct frequency or the correct number of gentlemen in each interval when you look across at this vertical axis. So I measured and came up with 4 gentlemen in the first bin, 14 in the second, 16 in the third, 28 in the fourth, and so on. Now multiplying the number in each bin, and by the way, those numbers add up to 100. So multiplying the number in each bin times the average weight gave me 4 times 127 pounds for the weight of the gentleman in the first bin, and I repeated that for every bin. And I came up with a total weight for these 100 gentlemen of 17,875 pounds. Dividing that by 100, we get the mean weight for these 100 gentlemen, and that's 178.75 pounds. Now our next task is to come up with the median. So the median is going to be between the 50th gentleman and the 51st in order, and both of those gentlemen can be found in this interval, and the average weight in that interval is 172 pounds, so then the median is 172 pounds. Now the minimum is 127 pounds, taking that average. The maximum for the upper interval is 262 pounds. So that's my maximum. And next, we have to come up with the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Well, the lower quartile is the average of the 25th and the 26th individuals in order, and both of those can be found in interval, in this third interval or this third bin, and that average or that median weight is 157 pounds. So that's our lower quartile. So we've got the median, the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the maximum. We have to find the upper quartile, Q sub 2. And to do that, by the way, that will be the average weight of the 75th and 76th gentlemen in order. And both of those gentlemen can be found in this bin, and so that average or that average weight is going to be 202 pounds, which happens to be then the median of the upper half, which is the upper quartile, or Q sub 2. Now keep in mind I said that the explanations for these upper and lower quartiles can be found on page 267. But let's get to the box plot. So here's our, and it's called a box and whisker plot also. We've got a whisker here and a whisker here. So our minimum value is 127, our maximum is 262, the median is 172, and the median for the lower half, which is Q sub 1, is 157 pounds. The median for the upper half, which is Q sub 2, which is 202 pounds. And we've answered our question.